Check this out. This is Volkswagen's new concept for a personal mobility vehicle, all electric, self-drives. I love the seating here, the doors. This is the first thing I've seen that reminds me of Minority Report. If you recall the vehicles in Minority Report, not quite as I think capsulized, but still looks like VW as well. Level 5 autonomy, that's the highest level of autonomy that you can get ideally in the next few years. This is what we have to look forward to. Thought this was cool, definitely worthy of sharing. Now, not sure about the road systems. Again, this is concept level, but really just had to share this. Very cool, very cool. So welcome, folks. Let me turn on my camera, stop the share here. I'm Ryan. Welcome to Auto Converse, our live weekly broadcast, mobility and connectivity news, analysis, opinion. I'm Ryan Gerardi. Today's Wednesday, February 27th. Happy Hump Day and happy National Retro Day. That's right, happy National Retro Day. In a moment, I'll speak to what Retro Day is. Here's what we got lined up for today. Elon Musk is back under the gun with the SEC, so we're going to bring up what's going on there. BMW has some really cool high-tech stuff coming out on a new model line that we're going to talk about related to voice command and gazing technology and whatnot. So that's new. Now BMW announces, really BMW and Daimler are joining forces for joint mobility services group. We're going to look at that. And Peugeot is kind of unveiling their plans for entering back in the US beyond their mobility services apps. So all those good things are to come. And why don't we go ahead and work on this. So real quick before I forget, shouts out, thanks for being here. If you're on the live stream, I'll be checking the watch page over at autoconversion.net where we stream the show onto our site. And I'll look for your comments there. I'll also be checking on the YouTube channel. If you are not opted in already to AutoConverse through our SMS campaign, get out your phone and send a text message right now to 64600 and text the keyword AutoConverse. And the reason why you want to do that is every time we go live for the show, which is pretty much every Wednesday at 2, we'll send you a link to the live stream on YouTube. It'll be right there on your phone. And if you can't watch live with us, that's fine. Watch it later. You don't have to watch it right now. So you can always watch it later. So again, text the keyword AutoConverse to 64600. Okay, let's look at this. So Elon, a little backstory, he reached a settlement with the SEC late last year due to basically some violations that they pinned against him when he had announced that he was going to take the company private. Led to a settlement with him, moved some things around. Now he's back under the gun over this tweet right here. Tesla made 0 cars in 2011, but will make around 500,000 in 2019. SEC says he has violated the agreement that they reached, and he's back under their gun. And Elon he pushes back. He says something is broken with the SEC, with their oversight, and so he's fighting back on this. There's a funny nickname he came up for this. I'll have to look for it and find it. But so yeah, Elon's back duking it out with the SEC. Go figure. And we'll see what he makes of that. I think on to more exciting tech news. And by the way, why do we do this show? You know, people ask me, Brian, why do you do this show every week? And if you were paying attention, we actually took a couple weeks off, mainly because we have just this backflow of content that trying to get out the door and keep up for everybody. So we took a couple of weeks off. It was a nice break, but honestly, I missed being here with you. I missed talking with people about what we're doing, getting the show prepped, looking for ideas. A lot of things we show here are brought to us by other people. So it's just good to be back. And sorry you missed us. We've been keeping the podcast updated. So if you're not tuned into the AutoConverse podcast, be sure to get up there and tune into that. So BMW, they are here. You see it on my screen here, I think, right? Let me pull this picture up here. There you go. This is the iNext, and it's slated to come out in 2021. And what's unique about this, what's really cool about this, is they're combining voice command technology with gesture control and gaze recognition. So think about this. You're in the car, and you could like swipe your hand, right? You could swipe your hand down and to make the window go down. Again, I'll bring up Minority Report, one of my favorite movies, where they have all the gesture controls. That's what BMW is looking to introduce in the iNext in 2021. So opening and closing windows, maybe swiping radio stations, voice command, you can ask, what's this? Maybe you're driving by a restaurant and you could say, book me a reservation. So, this is cool stuff, right? Buy tickets to this show, go here. So this is high tech. Thought it was noteworthy to have up here. Love to know what you think about stuff like this, because this is why we're here. We're trying to find the most futuristic technology that's coming out there. When we launched the AutoConverse blog 3 years ago as the future of mobility, and at the time, the word mobility really kind of inferred a few different things, right? Like for people with disabilities and their mobility, capabilities and technologies that they had. I had people say, why do people want to know about the future of mobility? And this is why, because here we are 3 years later. And let me tell you, when I go out on the news and I go to the tech blogs and some of the podcasts that are out there, more than 50% of the technology that is being introduced and covered is directly related to how we're connected and how we get around. So it's getting harder to find the really cool stuff, but that's what we're here and that's what we're looking for, and that's why you tune in, and we do appreciate that. So while we're on the topic of BMW, BMW and Daimler are now teaming up on mobility services to offer around the world. They're putting in over €1 billion to invest into a partnership that will create 5 new joint ventures. So multimodal services, charging, taxi ride hailing, parking, and car sharing. So I find it funny. The word taxi to me seems like an obsolete term. I know it's not, because I always think of ride hailing versus the word taxi. But what they've done is they're pooling together their resources to create these ventures. And ultimately, they want customers to be able to use these services through an app, like a single app. And so over time, automakers will kind of push to form a single mobility service portfolio of all electric, self-driving, vehicle fleets, charge automatically, park autonomously, and interconnect with other modes of transport. So all great in theory, right? It's easy to kind of throw these ideas out there. And one of the things I'm going to talk about in just a moment is Peugeot, because they last year came to the US with the Free to Move mobility app, which we covered around fall of 2018. But so no one knows where this is going to go. We have all these ideas about autonomous vehicles. We just showed the VW's level 5 concept car that's, level 5 is fully autonomous, meaning there's not even a pilot, right, in the car. It's just fully autonomous. And that's, will that really work? We already know that vehicles that are driving with autonomous technology do struggle in intermittent weather. So how does that play out? So climate actually has a big factor in all of this. So BMW Daimler, 1 billion euros to pool together for 5 joint ventures around mobility. We just released our podcast a few weeks ago around Cox really expanding on its mobility, Cox Automotive's mobility services division. So just a lot of really cool stuff going on out there and something to keep an eye on. I was showing that BMW, the iNext, and I apologize. I think I might have taken that down. Hey, shouts out to those here on the Zoom. We conduct this as a Zoom webinar. Normally, I have one or more guest or co-host on with me, but I decided to go solo once again. I think the last time I did this show fully solo was probably back in November of last year. So thanks for bearing with me. All right, so I mentioned the whole tech. I was going to mention, so PSA, which is Peugeot, if you remember Peugeot, they exited the US market, their vehicles in early 90s. They really struggled on through the 80s, left the market in the 90s. Last year, they came out with a mobility services app called Free to Move. In fact, I think, yep, I have it here. Let me just share my screen for you real quick. Ding, ding. There you go. So Free to Move was an app they had in Europe. I think maybe just France, but in Europe. And then last year it brought it into Washington, D.C. And this is like an app that aggregates different mobility services. And now Peugeot is slating plans to bring vehicles back into the market as early as, when did they say? I want to say 2023. They're looking to be back in market. So I think that's cool. I think what's significant about it is that, they're an automaker, they have a presence, and they know that they need the US market. And they're forward thinking in the sense is we need to enter back into the US market as a mobility services company. Whereas, as you can see, like Ford, really all the automakers, they're automakers and they're re-outfitting themselves into mobility services. So just a lot of great shifts going on. And, I should mention, so we just put out a couple of the latest podcasts. There we go. If you follow the AutoConverse podcast, we launched a new series. I had my friend Mike Phillips on for the second time, referred to it as the Streamers and Casters edition. And so basically, we are putting a call out there to people that are into podcasting and live streaming video and that run shows. We want to work together. We want to work together to help each other get, connect with our audience, come up with ideas, and also getting your mind wrapped around the technology. So, Mike, I saw your comment that you're traveling and listening. So Mike always hits us up on YouTube. So Mike, good to see you. I just mentioned your name. And let me go check over here on the site as well. Hey, Amanda. See, look, I'm getting better at this, right? I'm getting better. Being watched on the watch page. So, yeah, 2023. What is it? We're 2019. Mark my words, 2021. A lot of these concepts and emerging texts that we show here, that we've been talking about, that the automakers are talking about. 2021, we're going to start really seeing a lot of this stuff and moving forward. And going back to Minority Report, favorite movie came out in like 2000. I should know this. I want to say around 2011 is probably when it came out, maybe 2009. What's fascinating about that movie is and I love this about a lot of movies, is they brought in researchers and scientists and futurists, and they tried to create a world. The movie took place in 2032, and features Tom Cruise, and the whole idea was that they were trying to prevent crime. That was the idea. They were trying to prevent crime. So they tried to, they emulated what technology would look like in 2032. And so you had like magnetic roads road systems that utilized the vertical space within a city. And that VW concept car I showed you, the capsules kind of look like that. And you would hail them. So we've had lots of conversations about the future of vehicle ownership, like where's it going? And one thing I think a lot of people speculate is that the idea of uniqueness amongst vehicles will erode. Now, there'll always be a boutiqueness about it. I love Bob Lutz's kind of vision that we'll have automotive, country clubs. And that's where you'll go to drive cars, like where you go to play golf, where you go to hunt. You actually go to like an automotive country club to actually get behind the wheel and drive. But in the public systems, what we'll see over time is, the uniqueness will be stripped away, and you'll have different types of pods really transporting us from place to place, depending on where in the city we're going, maybe cross country. I envision cross country road systems. We have airway passages from city to city, but I envision just these super hyper speed, highway systems that connect these major metropolitan areas. You don't like to play golf, Amanda? Should get out there. Good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay, so check out the AutoConverse podcast. Got some neat stuff up there. What's squeezing profits from auto retailers? Latest podcast with Mike Phillips for streamers and casters. And here's something cool. I'm going to put this on my screen for you. Go to autoconverse.com. Look for this post. InsurTech claims handling gets boosted by California startup Drop-In. Now, if you're in the automotive space, you might have heard of Drop-In Auto that provides a streaming video service, live streaming video for dealers, both for sales reps and service, service technicians to show and interface with customers, virtually through the website. Okay, so if you're in the service garage, they can show you what's going on with your car. But here's what's cool with Drop-In. The way the tech got started, and Louis, the CEO, was on with us. He was our last guest of 2018. So go back and dig that up. It's right here on this post. But what they do is they have certified drone pilots, and they've partnered with Lyft and insurance companies. And what happens is when people are in an emergency and the insurance company needs to get like an inspection done, that can sometimes take a day or 2 or 3 days, and that doesn't always work for everybody. So with Drop-In, what they can do is they can hail a Lyft driver to go on site to the claim, and then they can live stream the feed back to the inspector at the insurance company remotely, so they can see the damage and make an assessment. And they can get drone operators to do the same thing from an aerial standpoint. So that just went up a few weeks ago, and I haven't been online, didn't get a chance to mention it. So go check that out. It's a great technology that you'll want to check out. So I like to keep this to under 30 minutes, and I'm going to start wrapping this up. What I'd like to do is I want to make one more announcement about some stuff. Do you ask for guest signatures at each show? How would I get a guest signature? That's what I got to know. How would I get a guest signature? Here's how you can do it. Go to autoconversion.net, look for the watch page where it says Watch AC on Air, and join the discussion. So Amanda's the bomb. I should set up an award system so that people get awarded for their commentary. And I'm going to be frank about this. There's a reason we don't stream on Facebook. And I've had people say, why do you not do your show on Facebook? And there's a reason why. And it's because we are focused on building our community, not producing content for Facebook. Nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to do. But we're focused on building our content for our community and for you. We put a lot of time, a lot of care into what we do. And it's part of a bigger It's part of a bigger message. You're welcome, Amanda. So yesterday I launched a new series. I don't think I'm sharing my screen, so I should probably do that. I launched a new series. You can find it on autoconversion.net. It's called B2B Marketing and Sales Hacks. And the whole idea is this. If you go to a company blog, if you look at a software company, a tech company, marketing company, you name it, you go to a business-to-business website, look at their blog, and look at their content. I would argue that more than 80%, probably more like 90% of the content that you see is about them and their product and their features and all the stuff. It's about them. And it's not about the audience. And that's what we set out to do. We want to produce content for you that you can enjoy, that you might want to share with somebody. That's why we do what we do. And we just want to keep it relevant. We want to keep it real. That's what we're shooting for. And so I want to challenge you, as if you work for a company, if you own a company, I want to challenge you to think like a publisher. Stop thinking like a company. Think like a publisher. Think about producing content that your audience wants, not content that you want them to have. So just something to think about. And go to autoconversion.net, look under webcasts, and look for B2B marketing and sales hacks, and get yourself signed up, because we talk about these things. I just want to plug that in there for today's show. Okay, National Retro Day takes us back to a time before smartphones and the internet. You remember those days? Like, 95, maybe even earlier. Yeah, the good old days. Every generation looks back and asks, remember when? And National Retro Day indulges our love for the good old days while remaining in the present. So no matter what decade, pick a point in time where people talked more face-to-face than text-to-text, had dinner at home around the table, and the kids played games that didn't require internet. I was at my chiropractor yesterday, and I had to wait. I was like 2 people in front of me to get their adjustment. I did my other therapies, and what did I do? I pulled out my phone and I play chess. I check on notes, and I love it. I love having the ability to keep up with things on my phone. I made a point to talk to the person. There were 2 people there. I made a point to try to talk to them, but it's short-lived. My son I take him to karate about 3 times a week, and tell you what, no one talks. The parents, we all sit there, and I'm a culprit. I plug in my earbuds and I listen to podcasts and I check on messages. That's what I do, and that's what we all do. So today is National Retro Day, and maybe let's all make a point today to maybe put that technology aside. Maybe I should have dressed differently. I should have put on some like parachute pants or something. Just being funny, just being funny. All right, so Amanda, Mike, thanks for interacting with us. If you like what we do, folks, please share this. Let somebody know about it. We take this show, we release it out onto the AutoConverse podcast, so be sure to get tuned in to the AutoConverse podcast, and head up to autoconversion.net, subscribe, and that way you can keep up with everything we have going on there. And while you're there, go to autoconverse.com. They're kind of sister sites that work together, but we split how we do the content there. Head up to autoconverse.com and subscribe there. 2 completely separate subscriptions, whole different types of content. If you or somebody you know want to get up here, we do this every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central. We have a nice, just good, growing community network of people that come up here. Mike Phillips, I've mentioned. Amanda's been up here. Terry Lancaster, Chris Leslie, you name it. If you want to be up here, you're welcome to be up here. This is what we do. Just pick a few cool things going on and have a good conversation. So, and if you think somebody would be good up here, let us know. Happy to talk with them and welcome them to the show. All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Ryan Gerardi here, AutoConverse on air. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Be sure to text the keyword AutoConverse to 64600. Have a great rest of the day and a great rest of your week.